Good morning, Beak. Look what I found in the bins outside. She's not that dirty, and besides, I have a great idea for her. I'm thinking about having her present the news with me, instead of you. Now whilst I'm gone, Beak, you and Betty play nicely. Weeping Doll review for the PlayStation VR. Let's begin! First up, let's take a look at the gameplay. The main aim of the game is to solve puzzles placed inside a house. Solving them will advance the story that is set around a creepy doll. You move around the home by using the left analog stick to position a ghost-like version of yourself and then hit the X button to move to its current location. It isn't completely like a ghost because it has a collision sensor causing you to have to guide it around furniture. It doesn't take long to get used to the movement scheme, but does come across a bit clunky. Smooth controls would have been a nice addition for people who don't get motion sickness. Unfortunately, they're not found in the game, and there isn't anything at all really to customise your experience, as the game is lacking an options screen. Most of the time it plays a lot like a room escape game, because when you enter a new room the door is quite likely to lock behind you, resulting in you having to find a key that is located somewhere nearby. The puzzles you come across are quite easy, and you have most likely seen them before, if you have ever played another room escape game. The game doesn't invent anything new, and it plays it very safe. You are able to move certain objects from one place to another by holding them in either your left or right hand. If you have more than two objects you want to transport, you can open up your inventory and place them in there for later use. You can also combine two items together, but you don't need to that much, so it isn't really worth going into much detail about. Now let's take a look at how immersive this spooky setting is. The rooms inside the house are quite varied and have a decent amount of detail, but are not quite up to the quality found in Resident Evil 7's atmospheric mansion. The house is fun to explore overall, and it is exciting when you gain access to a new room, to see what puzzle or jump scare awaits you inside. I won't show any jump scares in this review, in case you do decide to buy it, but what I will say about them is that I sort of knew they were coming up, but as I felt like I was really in this house, they made me jump anyway. The depth of the rooms is quite impressive, especially in the smaller ones, but when you get close to some photos or images on the walls, they can appear quite blurry. It's not really acceptable in a game like this where your main aim is to explore and take in your surroundings. There is a couple of times where you have to peek through a hole in the wall. When you do this, the wall itself becomes attached to you and follows your head movement. These moments are very unrealistic and breaks the immersion. It really is a shame. The story is average and you have likely heard something similar to it before. It's still fun experiencing it in virtual reality though, and seeing how it unfolds. Some of the voiceovers can come across quite creepy, as they sound like something you would hear from a children's cartoon. It may not sound scary, but when you're virtually there and hearing the voice, it can be quite unsettling.
Once upon a time, there were two twin sisters who lived in a big house with their parents.
What controllers can you use with the game? Let's find out. I played this game in a seated position just under 2 meters away from the camera. I had no head tracking problems from that distance, and this game did not give me motion sickness. Most people should be alright with the motion due to the game's teleportation system. Even though the game is advertised as being required to have 2 move controllers to play, this is not the case. It can only be played with a DualShock controller. The move controllers are not supported. It's a shame they are not supported, as you are able to use 2 hands in the game. It would have combined together very well. How long will you be exploring the spooky house for, and what trophies will you achieve? Let's find out. The game took me just over an hour to complete. Your game time could differ from this, depending on how good of a puzzle solver you are. The game doesn't really have any replay value, unless you are a trophy hunter. And even then, it is still possible to get all of the trophies on your first playthrough, if you are the type of person who really likes to explore every nook and cranny of a game environment. The game has 14 trophies that can be achieved. There is 11 bronze, 2 silver, and 1 gold. I had 3 trophies to achieve after beating the game. They wanted me to do certain actions at different parts of the story, or simply to find an object. I would certainly be able to get these remaining ones on a second playthrough. That just about covers everything, so now it's time for the verdict. I'm going to start off by saying this: if a game wasn't playable in VR, I would not recommend it at all. But as you feel like you're in the house, and it is fun to explore, you might just get some enjoyment out of it. It's a very short experience, and in my opinion, it's not worth the price. If you can get it in a sale, hopefully you won't feel that ripped off. I was disappointed with the game's ending though, because it ends in such a way that it took me a few minutes to realise that I had indeed completed the game. What's your opinion on the game, Betty?
I think you have done a brilliant job on explaining the game. I don't have anything to add to your perfect review.
Why, thank you, Betty. It certainly is refreshing to have a co-worker praise me on the hard work I do. You're a keeper. Overall, just be very cautious when approaching this title. The best part of the game is being able to explore a decently detailed house. The game's puzzles are easy and the jump scares are predictable, which overall left me a bit underwhelmed. I give this game a score of 6 out of 10. Beep! Beep! I was walking past the dumpster and Betty was in there again. I think she's really cursed. That's it. I'm not going anywhere near creepy dolls again.